On a cold, misty night, a weary traveler named Mark drove down a desolate stretch of highway. The only sound was the rhythmic hum of the tires against the asphalt and the occasional rustle of wind through the trees. As he turned on the radio, the static seemed to mirror the loneliness of the road. Suddenly, he spotted a figure standing by the roadside, a young woman, drenched in rain and shivering. Mark slowed down, rolling down his window. "Need a ride?" he asked, concern etched on his face. The woman looked up, her eyes reflecting a haunting sadness. "Yes, please," she replied softly. As she slid into the passenger seat, Mark noticed her pale complexion, almost ethereal in the dim light of the dashboard. "Where are you headed?" he inquired, trying to break the thick silence. "Just take me home," she whispered, her voice barely rising above a breath. She provided an address, a place he recognized as a forgotten part of town. As they drove, they exchanged few words. Mark felt an eerie chill as he glanced at her ghostly figure, but he dismissed it as nothing more than the cold night. When they reached the address, it stood in disrepair, an old, dilapidated house that seemed to lean away from the road, as if it wanted to hide. "Are you sure this is the right place?" Mark asked hesitantly. She nodded slowly, her gaze fixed on the house. As she opened the door, he caught a glimpse of her hand, a frayed, worn bracelet that looked oddly familiar. But before he could ask, she stepped out into the rain. Mark watched as she disappeared into the darkness, leaving only the echo of her footsteps behind. Curiosity turned into unease as he waited, seconds turning into minutes. He decided to check on her, though a gnawing feeling in his gut warned him against it. Stepping out of the car, he called out, "Hey, are you okay?" No response came. Silence enveloped the night, broken only by the patter of rain. Mark approached the house, but as he reached the front door, he noticed something strange. A "for sale" sign swaying slightly, older and faded. He glanced back to where he had last seen her. In the dim light, he could see the road, but she was nowhere to be found. Then a chilling realization washed over him. She hadn't just been a hitchhiker. She had been someone from another time, lost in a different kind of night. Panic surged through him as he turned to flee, but the darkness thickened, swallowing his path. With every step, he felt an impulse from somewhere deep within. Should he drive away or face the unknown? Just as the weight of his fear began to lift, the sound of laughter echoed through the trees. It wasn't just the distant memories of the past. It was a siren call, beckoning him closer. He stumbled back, realizing he was just another traveler now, lost in the landscape of ghost stories and places that refused to be forgotten. He turned on his heel, racing back to his car, but the road stretched out endlessly ahead. He wondered, was he just a few minutes away from escape, or had he now become a specter like her, destined to roam this stretch of the highway, waiting for another weary traveler to pick him up?
Dark Tales. Subscribe now.